Vox Populi, razbijanje mitova, drugi dio. Živo me zanima da li će jedan medij u Hrvatskoj prenijeti ovo. Znači, ovo je prije 2 sata prenešeno. Dogodilo se, čini mi se, prije 5-6 dana. Znači, neću niš govorit, filozofirat, sami prosudite.
Legislation was introduced in 2024 amid mounting losses in Gaza, aiming to replenish dwindling manpower as the Israeli army struggled to sustain operations while facing an unprecedented shortage of recruits. Wow, look at that. So it looks like Israel's days away from becoming Ukraine, grabbing people off the street, throwing them into a van. It's not going to be as easy because they are united as one, whereas the Ukrainians are not. So, but if you absolutely have to use them in the military, I say send them on a night mission because no one will see them. Hey, turns out there's a bunch of Orthodox Jews in Israel not on board with the Israeli military. They're not on board with Israel. They see it as a blasphemy. Circulating. Haredi settlers burned the Zionist flag during protests against mandatory conscription in occupied Jerusalem. So they're burning the American flag. Those damn Muslims. Oh, I mean, what? What? See how they see that the Muslims, they dressed up as the most religious Jews in the world?
Sleeper cells, Jimmy. Sleeper cells.
Oh, what happened? It didn't. It didn't really catch. Not really good with the lighter. Ultra-Orthodox rally. So there's the rally in Israel to oppose arrest of draft. So if you don't want to join, so everybody in Israel has to serve in the IDF, the military. But some people don't want to do it.
To je ono što Plenković pokušava sa ovom vladom izdajničkom. Znači, žele nametnuti obavezni vojni rok u trajanju 2 mjeseca. Ma nemoj. Šta će oni naučiti u roku 2 mjeseca? Daj, nemojte me nasmijavati. Znači, žele našu djecu slati kod topovsko meso u tuđe ratove. A ovdje se vidi o kome je riječ. Samo me zanima koliko novaca ide tamo i kome idu naši novci. Idemo dalje.
And Hasidic Jews are standing up for them. Prominent rabbis have repeatedly called on ultra-Orthodox Jews to refuse draft orders, despite the Israeli army's worsening manpower crisis. Can you even picture these dudes in a battlefield?
Yeah.
I don't know how that would work, but they're determined to let Israel know that if they ever want to get a diamond ring for their fiance ever again, they better back the F down. Hundreds of thousands of ultra-Orthodox Israelis known as Haredim gathered in Jerusalem on October 30th for a mass rally against the arrests of yeshiva students accused of evading military service. The rally is described by Israeli media as a rare show of unity between the divided Haredi factions, who are often in opposition regarding politics and state relations. The demonstration, named Cry of the Torah, was endorsed by nearly all ultra-Orthodox leaders who instructed followers to attend and maintain order. So this is basically the Torah versus the Talmud? Is that what this is?
Well, it's a little tricky because some would say Torah includes the Talmud, but like other people would, you know, there's a million little sects. It really comes down to, do they love Zionism or not?
Here's Jerusalem faces traffic chaos today as Haredim, the ultra-Orthodox groups, hold a 1 million-man protest against drafting yeshiva students. Look at this. Look at that. They have nice subways.
Da, u oktobru je ovo bilo, krivo sam rekla, pardon. Niko to nije prenio, niti jedan jedini medij.
Why
Pogledao,
can't we have nice things like they have in Israel? We're paying for it. Only the Jerusalem faction led by Rabbi Israel Auerbach. Oh, is that Red Auerbach's cousin? Refused to participate, accusing organizers of failing to demand the full reinstatement of the long-standing Torato Amanuto exemption system that allows Torah students to defer military service. The exemption is central to the ultra-Orthodox Jewish way of life, allowing yeshiva students to dedicate their time solely to the study of the Torah instead of army duty, a principle many Haredim see as vital to preserving their religious identity.
Haredim.
Haredim, okay.
So the other Jews don't like them because they spend all their whole day praying, but I think the Zionists should appreciate that they're sitting there praying for the vile crimes the rest of them did.
So, the Torah study is viewed by the ultra-Orthodox as a form of spiritual service to the nation, equal in importance to military duty. Organizers say the gathering was not against the draft exemption law itself, but against the arrests of students labeled as deserters. The debate over the law is still ongoing and it belongs in the Knesset, but following the arrests and persecution against us, it was decided to protest nonetheless. Hey, good for you. This is Israel's Public Broadcasting Corporation shows footage from the ultra-Orthodox protest against mandatory military service. And look at that. Pretty big. Look at that.
ovo nijedan medij u Hrvatskoj nije prenio. Nevjerojatno. Zašto šutite o tome? Plaćenici.
No. The protest was convened after Lithuanian leaders Rabbi Dov Landau and Moshe Hill-Harush called for action following the arrest of several yeshiva students. A counter-protest was organized nearby by the coalition of service organizations and families of reservists, including bereaved families and wounded soldiers. Prominent ultra-Orthodox leaders have repeatedly urged their followers to ignore military recruitment orders following the Israeli High Court's ruling that yeshiva students must be drafted into military service amid Israel's enlistment crisis in the army. So there's an enlistment crisis. So that's what this really is about.
Da,
So
da.
the people
Kriza u
are
vojsci.
giving them Israeli military in the numbers that they need, and they started arresting people for it.
Užas.
Don't they have illegal immigrants they can use?
Really? No kidding, right? The legislation was introduced in 2024 amid mounting losses in Gaza, aiming to replenish dwindling manpower as the Israeli army struggled to sustain operations while facing an unprecedented shortage of recruits. Wow, look at that. So it looks like Israel's days away from becoming Ukraine, grabbing people off the street, throwing them into a van. It's not going to be as easy because they are united as one, whereas the Ukrainians are not. So, but if you absolutely have to use them in the military, I say send them on a night mission because no one will see them. That doesn't mean nobody will hear them, but there you go. So, all is not copacetic inside Israel. Come see us in Australia. Second show's added in Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. We'll see you in Burbank, California, the day after Thanksgiving.
To, evo tu par podcasta jako dobrih. Medija Stač. Čak Baldwin, dobar. Tražim nešto. Ovo želim vidjeti. Joj, kako su naprni s ovim oglasima, užas. Užas.
Hungry Palestinians are met with live bullets at so-called aid sites run by Israeli and US contractors. The controversial Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, or GHF, has been long accused of killing and wounding aid seekers. Now the Associated Press says it's obtained this leaked video from people within the GHF.
American contractors guarding the distribution sites in Gaza are using live ammunition and stun grenades against Palestinians desperately searching for food, and that's according to a new explosive report by the Associated Press. So 2 U.S. contractors working at the Israel-U.S.-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation spoke to the Associated Press on condition of anonymity and said they were coming forward because they were disturbed by what they considered dangerous and irresponsible practices. They said the security staff hired were often unqualified, unvetted, heavily armed, and seemed to have an open license to do whatever they wished. And it appears to be the case when you look at the death toll of Palestinians who have been shot and killed at these humanitarian aid hubs, upward of 500 individuals at this point. The numbers continue to rise. The contractors work for UG Solutions, an American outfit subcontracted to hire security personnel for the GHF. Now, they said their colleagues regularly lobbed stun grenades and pepper spray in the direction of Palestinians. One contractor said bullets were fired in all directions, in the air, into the ground, and at times toward the Palestinians, recalling at least one instance where he thought someone had been hit. During a single distribution in June, contractors used 37 stun grenades, 27 rubber and smoke scat shell projectiles, and 60 cans of pepper spray. 60 cans of pepper spray, and that's according to internal text communications that were shared by the Associated Press. Now, the contractor said that there are innocent people being hurt badly, needlessly. I would venture to say, though, especially for the Israeli contractors who are taking part in this, I don't think that's the bug. I think that's the feature. I think it's pretty clear at this point. The footage seems to corroborate those accounts. And here's another disturbing video the contractor shared with the Associated Press. Just want to give you warning because obviously it's brutal to see this level of human suffering that's only made worse by the very people who are allegedly trying to help them. Let's take a look.
In one video, heavily armed American security guards appear to discuss clearing Palestinians gathered to get food. At least 15 gunshots can be heard. One contractor's testimony appears to show the mercenaries opening fire on Palestinians walking away from the aid site. Audio analysis of videos indicates the machine gun fire was close to the person filming it.
So the contractor who filmed that video said that he actually watched another contractor fire at Palestinians and then saw a man about 60 yards away drop to the ground. So what have we become? Seriously. Are we proud of this? You have American contractors carrying out these acts of terror in a strip of land that's been terrorized for decades by Israel, a country that we're currently funding, aiding, and abetting in their genocide of the Palestinian people. What have we become? Is this what we're proud of?
Yeah. So, Al Jazeera used the right word there. They're mercenaries. That's what we used to call these folks. And now calling them private security contractors is like calling torture enhanced interrogation. So mercenaries sign up to do this for money. They're not with the U.S. government, they're not with the Israeli government, but the Israeli government is using them in some atrocious ways, which we're going to explain in a second. And these mercenaries, American and otherwise, are killing Palestinian civilians in ways that are atrocious. So one of the ways we just showed you, right? And did you notice, one of them says, hey, I think you just shot one, and the other one goes, oh, hell yeah, boy. But we showed you what their conditions were. There's no one armed among the Palestinians, and they're boxed in. And they're just shooting them like fish in a barrel. And they think that's like a cool, tough guy thing. Hell yeah, you shot an unarmed civilian. Was it a kid? And how are we finding out about a lot of this? Some of the American mercenaries are coming back and talking to the Associated Press because it's destroyed it's weighs so heavily on their conscience, you know.
It should.
And the IDF soldiers now are going and talking to Haaretz because it's weighing on their conscience about how it's wanted slaughter. And so it's their own side going, what are we doing? I thought we were going to do something decent. We're just murdering civilian after civilian. And one of the mercenaries, American mercenaries, said, there was no Hamas in sight anywhere. There was no Hamas that we ever saw, no one armed we ever saw. We're just shooting at completely unarmed civilians who are trying to get food for their family. So I have a lot more on how this has turned into the Stanford prison experiment on a mass scale, right? Because they're playing Squid Games with these guys. It's like pretty literal, as I'll explain it. There's Where's Daddy, where they murder their families. And so this is like one of the sickest genocides I've ever seen. Not just in terms of the number of people killed and the massively disproportionately civilians, right? But like they almost seem to be having fun with it. It has a Mengele feel to it. So I'm going to explain more of that in a second. Yeah.
So that same contractor that was telling the Associated Press about what he saw in the video that we showed you, he also revealed that there is collusion between the Americans on the ground and the Israeli Defense Forces. I mean, this entire genocide has been collusion between the United States and the genocidal government of Israel. He said that American staff at the sites monitor the people coming to get food and then document anyone considered suspicious. Again, I want to reiterate what Jake said earlier. We're talking about unarmed individuals. We're talking about desperate, starving Palestinians, okay? So they get to determine who they consider suspicious. Then they share that information with the Israeli military, presumably so the IDF can later target those people. And they will target those people. And guess what? As those innocent individuals get slaughtered, it gives the Israelis the perfect cover story. Well, the Americans told me that this guy was dangerous, suspicious. So good job, Americans. Really proud of you here. God, it's so disgusting. This is such a stain, and it will follow America and our history for the end of time. Honestly, I can't believe that this is what we're aiding and abetting. We're funding this. We won't fund Medicaid, okay, for poor Americans who need health insurance. Okay, but we'll fund this, the slaughter of innocents in Gaza. By the way, the Associated Press also confirmed that the footage was in fact legitimate by geolocating the videos, but they do note that the AP or any journalism organization cannot independently verify the contractor's specific stories. Now, why is that the case? Well, it's because Israel does not allow journalists into Gaza, meaning they cannot access the GHF sites, which, by the way, are also located in Israeli militarized zones. And I remember doing a story about how any Palestinian in a militarized zone in Gaza will get shot, no questions asked. So interesting that they've located these humanitarian aid hubs in militarized zones. But every report that we've seen about the aid distribution in Gaza make these stories extremely credible. So there was also the harrowing Haaretz report in which IDF soldiers, said that they were ordered to shoot deliberately at unarmed Gazans waiting for aid. That piece was titled, "It's a Killing Field. IDF soldiers ordered to shoot deliberately at unarmed Gazans waiting for humanitarian aid." And just last night, 45 people who were attempting to receive humanitarian aid were killed in Israeli airstrikes and shootings because, of course, again, that's not the bug, that is the feature. This is very much intentional. Anyone trying to gaslight you into believing otherwise is lying to you. Okay, this is not a moral army. This is an army full of literal terrorists who have no shame in slaughtering innocent people on a daily basis. I'm being
I uživaju u
100%
tome
clear about that,
bolesnici.
and I mean what I'm saying. Okay, no one is going to deter me from telling the truth about what's going on.
Užas.
5 were killed on the roads leading
I
to
takvi će nama
Gaza
lekcije
humanitarian
prodavat.
foundation sites. Another 40 were killed while waiting
Ko
for
ona
trucks
Pupova,
carrying
onaj
aid
zločinac
in
Pupovac,
several
užas
locations
jedan.
around Gaza. More than 500 Palestinians have been killed and hundreds more wounded since the GHF food distribution sites opened in May. Nonetheless, last month, the U.S. government pledged $30 million more for the group to continue operations.
Okay, so look, I don't think what you're saying is even controversial at this point, other than the Israeli dead enders who are like, oh no, Israel is the greatest country. Oh, you are
Greg,
all
go live in Israel.
Semites.
Go live in Israel, please. We don't want you here.
Yeah,
go
we
live in
don't.
Israel.
Like, if you're one of those people, just then go to your beloved Israel and have your greatest dreams come true. We sign up to the idea of murder innocent Palestinians. Okay, but for the rest of America, we're done with it. Okay, like in terms of the voters. And now CNN did a story the other day, showed a poll. Democrats have switched by about 46 points on Israel. Young Democrats have switched by 71 points. A majority of Republicans under 50 now don't support Israel anymore. They support the Palestinians. Because why? We're all watching Squid Games live on TV with real people. And that's not an exaggeration or a hyperbole. That's literally what the IDF soldiers are telling Haaretz. One of the operations is called Operation Salted Fish. And salted fish is the Israeli equivalent of red light, green light. And that's why he said it's a killing field. We do red light, green light with these guys, and we just, come, stop. And we just keep killing them and killing them and killing them. And by the way, that number was at over 500. Earlier today, by the end of the day, it was over 600 killed in food distribution centers. Because they keep slaughtering and slaughtering. So there's that one. There's the second one called Where's Daddy? So these things are interconnected. Because now the American mercenaries, the UN did not collect data at food distribution centers. They just gave food to starving people. But since the Israelis and the mercenaries are running this together, the Americans that are coming back home are telling the Associated Press, no, we're working with the Israelis and we're scanning all the faces to find quote-unquote persons of interest or add persons of interest to the list. And how do you get to be added as a person of interest? For things like looking like you're out of place.
Znači, ovo je stvarno zabrinjavajuća situacija, šta se događa. Mene samo zanima koliko tih takozvanih saborskih zastupnika imaju dvojno državljanstvo srpsko i hrvatsko. Znači, koji služili su u JNA i ako imaju dvojno državljanstvo, oni ne mogu obnašati nikakvu funkciju u Hrvatskom saboru. To je protuustavno. Znači, ne možeš, pa za kog ti radiš onda? Za kog ti radiš? Pa kaj ne vidimo to iz priloženog? Kaj ne vidimo to svaki dan koliko nas ponižavaju i pljuju po nama? Ej, ljudi, halo, buđenje ljudi. Dosta više te uspavanosti. Nema više hrvatske šutnje. Dosta je toga. Da, ništa. Dosta za sada. Pozdrav.